Miss Megan has cute hair.
Oh, it's adorable.
God, it looks really good on her. I love the way she's wearing it.
Yeah, I rather like my short hair. Years ago, when I realized I was more than likely not going to be at any other folks' weddings, decided to lop all my hair off so I no longer had to do with the updo.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, in movies and all that stuff, it's all sexy to have long hair. The work to maintain it, not sexy at all. Although, mind you, there's probably a fetish for that. I mean, think about it. Someone who likes working with other people's hair.
Oh, God. Guys that love to brush hair? Oh, sure. I've dated them.
Yeah, but not... Yeah, but... Oh, I mean, when you have to go into the salon chair before the bride because your hair is so thick and heavy and it takes every bobby pin and multiple cans of Aquanet or whatever it is, they did in the 80s to keep your hair up. I managed to keep it up like in a simple French twist to like through pictures, and then I could actually hear like the sproinging noises as little bits of it would pop out. I found a lot. I mean, I still have way too much hair.
That's so funny.
I mean, the older I get, my genetic heritage, the older I get, the hairier I get.
Oh.
For many men, for many men, it's the opposite.
Yeah. What is wrong? Who set this shit up to where women get hairier, guys get balder? I mean, it's so wrong.
I mean, I know that the guys that get bald and all that, they say have more testosterone, but I still just...
I've heard that too.
But the whole survival of the species for postmenopausal women getting hairier is beyond.
Yeah,
is beyond.
Well, maybe it's to divert the men to the younger women who can still reproduce.
Because it's only been several decades. I mean, most of it were actually a little bit longer than that. That hair removal for women's even been a thing.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean, yeah.
Well, although none of us ever wanted mustaches, there was always tweezers.
Oh, yeah.
There was the big manual push for the tweezers. We've got a story about hair coming up later.
Okay.
Later in the show, we'll talk about that.
Didn't even. I printed out the cheat sheet here.
Yep.
But I didn't actually look at it.
Okay. Well,
So I'm not exactly sure why I made more scratch paper.
And I sometimes I remember to send it to you. Sometimes I don't. So it's all good. It's all good. So this week on the Great Northern Sex Cast, this is pretty pragmatic. The lead story today: sex dolls with boobs and functioning penises are a hit with kinky couples. So basically, we talk about sex dolls constantly. We talk about sex robots, which freaks out Megan and me, quite frankly. But now, basically, they're making sex dolls that can be either or both at the same time, and they're calling them trans dolls. Mm-hmm. So couples like them, they're a
little bit for everyone.
It kind of makes sense, And they apparently men are most likely to purchase the trans dolls.
Well, men are most likely to purchase dolls in general. I mean, because honestly, there's a lot more sex toys for women.
Okay.
The vibrators, the dildos, small vibes, all that sort of stuff. They don't actually have to be penis shaped or any vibes, but there's a lot more things that are for women. I mean, guys, you pretty much have variations.
How does this sound? Is that better?
I hope it is. We don't have, with the system we've set up here, we don't have the headphones, so sometimes we miss some of the stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, and, quite honestly, I'm just sort of a doorknob. I just really don't know how else to put it, but yeah. So you were just talking about how more choice for women.
Yeah, there really are. There's a little bit more variety when you're talking about things. For guys, for the most part, you're looking for a hole to put your penis in. Mm-hmm. So there's just variations on that.
Yes.
Although there are vibrating cock rings for testicular stuff. There's more toys for anal stimulation and prostate stimulation, and that's all growing. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, toys for guys are just a variation on a theme of how expensive you want to be, whether you want it to be a single use or multiple use, how easy it is to clean. I mean, that's really where if you're looking at prices on things, you're looking at materials and ease of cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want something that's really easy to clean, it costs a little bit more because it's made of a denser material, and you can take it apart and that sort of item.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I don't know, the girls were always the ones that, in the old way that we used to look at the world, girls played with dolls. And now, everybody does.
Action figures.
Action figures. That's
I remember
right.
seeing that as a child the first time I saw something called an action figure. And I looked at it and went, it's a doll. I mean, no one had to tell me. It was just the absurdity. I mean, I wasn't sure if I knew all the vocabulary behind it, but I'm pretty sure my kid mind, I remember going, huh? Just
That's a man doll.
Yeah. It was a little, I'm like I said, I didn't have the vocabulary behind it, but my brain knew that something was hinky about it.
Oh, for sure. It's funny. Army men, they had army men before there were Ken dolls. And my brother was super into that, but somehow until they became
larger.
Yeah.
My Barbie camper went right over
the army men
guys.
Yeah. I had some serious Barbie gear.
I had a few, but I didn't understand the how to play with dolls thing. My idea of how playing with dolls, which annoys the hell out of my kid when she was younger, is organizing the doll clothes.
Oh. That's funny.
And there were some games that I liked, but for the most part, I'm like, how many games of Candyland? Just board games and dolls, stuff like that.
Well, what did you do?
I read. I was a geek.
I was a reader too.
Yeah, I would sit and I would read. Yeah. I just loved it. Or, the thing is, or you used to go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go play in Minnehaha Creek is what I did. And you collect crawfish and bring them home, and they slowly die in the wash tub you put them in. It's very cruel. I'm very sorry. But we spent a lot of, honestly, I sound like, real cranky, but we spent a lot of time outdoors. I don't even know what, honestly, I don't remember what we're doing. And I'm alive, so at one point there must have been food, but I have no memory of how food occurred because all the moms worked. So we must have just gone home and just raided the peanut butter and jelly or something.
Isn't that funny? You just don't remember those details?
No, obviously there must have been food.
Yeah. That's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was a big reader, but my whole thing, one of my favorite things to do as a kid was draw, and with my markers. You could give me an artisan pad and markers and whatever. And finally, when I'd get in trouble and my mom would make me go to my room, she'd come in however longer, and I'd be just having a riot. And finally, she got wise to it and took away the markers. But she was like, "This is not having the desired effect."
I'd always think, "Go to my room, fine."
Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'm all good. Okay, I love my engagement ring, but not this much. They are piercing engagement rings into fingers now. Okay, I know.
Sorry. Appendages, and okay, there are a lot of piercings out there. Not for me. Some of them I think look incredibly awesome on folks. But I know that the tongue piercing is so bad for your oral health. So there's that, and there's a couple other things. But your hand, how do you keep that clean? How do you, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were,
Yeah, it just sounds pretty awful to me as well. And, so we're going to move on because it's like I'm cringing right now.
No.
Okay, so dreams come up, quite a bit around here, and, sex dreams and this, that, and the other thing.
God, I wish I had more sex dreams versus me doing a laundry.
That's right. You have the most boring dreams.
I have the most. I would love. Maybe maybe I don't need to dream about sex. It's all pretty good. So maybe that's it. What I need to do is the fact that there's just a crap ton of laundry in my house.
You know what's funny about my sex dreams? Like for the last several months, have all been about my fiance. Like it's just been, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I just think it's interesting. But no, so, there's certain recurring dreams that you can talk to people and I'm just like, oh yeah, I've had that one.
Okay.
Like, do you ever go back to school? Do you ever find yourself in school and you're like, oh shit, you have to be in class and you haven't done the homework and crap?
It's been a long, long time, but how much you want to bet that when our kid starts applying to college?
Okay.
Or she starts going, get this closer
that
to
was
me.
A big one that I had a lot.
I used to be chasing a Volkswagen while a large blue dish followed me. This was a reoccurring dream that I had all through my childhood and teen years.
there's something about a cow jumping over the moon and a spoon too. Was it something to do with that?
I don't know. It was sort of like Dr. Seuss highways, weird, chasing a car that I think was a VW Bug with a large blue bull rolling after me.
Awesome.
And I had that one for years.
That one I've never heard.
Just totally. And I would go, what the? I mean, like I said, I didn't even know the word fuck, but I'm pretty sure my brain was going, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, naked dreams happen a lot. And people, a typical one is you find yourself all of a sudden standing somewhere public naked or being chased. You can get really, this happens a lot. So this gal, Teresa Chung, she's an author and a dream expert. And she says, a lot of what we've heard before, that the embarrassing dreams are some of the most common, and you can just really expect that it does reflect your everyday worry. So what a bull chasing you. That one, didn't you used to work in a restaurant?
Well, no, but this is when I was a kid, a very young kid. Okay. I think maybe
doing the dishes?
Possibly Dr. Seuss just freaked me out because honestly, the background always reminded me like I was running through a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But naked dreams usually suggest you feel vulnerable in some aspect of your waking life. And so again, your dreaming mind, she says, Teresa Chung, is urging you to protect yourself and honestly express aspects of yourself that are kept hidden while you're awake, theoretically, so that so that you can be more rested. Because I don't know if you have the dreams do you have the dreams where you work?
Oh yeah, that's what I do. I swear I am more exhausted when I wake up than when I go to bed sometimes, because I feel like was I actually asleep? Because I felt like I was doing things.
Yeah,
and they were ordinary stuff.
Yeah.
I do that. I would much rather have a sex dream or a dream where I'm naked. Just because it'd be somewhere else. They're obviously far enough into REM sleep where I'm, doing that versus trying to do my chore list.
Okay, 5 sex fantasies. Men will never tell you.
Okay,
that they have.
Let's see.
There's a new acronym in here that I have not yet seen. And it freaks me out.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is cougars, MILFs, and GILFs.
Grandmas. All that.
Oh.
Hey, there are people so.
Oh.
I mean, you think someone wouldn't want to screw Susan? I mean, I'm thinking of like a grandma that's like Susan Sarandon or Cher or all these folks that were like sex symbols. They're grandparents now. People still have fantasies about them. They have fantasies about, Robert Redford and all these other guys. They're all grandpas.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I have never seen that before.
We sell the movies.
Do you really?
Yeah. There's plenty of GILF and MILF movies.
Okay. Well, Kelly just found a new one today. Mm-hmm. Superheroes. They don't want to tell you that they want to be a superhero or dress up like one, but there's all the cosplay now.
Oh, yeah.
But so those people own it. Mm. But there are a lot of guys that really want to fuck you as Captain Marvel, and even if it's just superhero sex powers, but that's they do fantasize about this. How is that? How funny is that?
Oh, actually, I think that's sort of cute. If you want to, I think probably because of cosplay, it's much easier for folks to dress up now. Much more folks and stuff like that.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Sex with the best friend. And it's not necessarily bi-curious. It can be, but in most cases, the psychologists say that this is about comparing sexual prowess. So it's really more about the two of them and one woman and seeing who can outdo the other one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have seen. I know women compete, but I've never seen anything like men compete or guy friends that will sit. There is no way that the stereotype of "here, hold my beer" ever happened to a woman first. Right. I'm willing to go out there and say that, and I would. I will second it with you. Sex with your best friend. So that means the significant other's best friend. And they are curious as to what that one would be like in bed.
Well, I think most people are curious about what other people are like in bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking that about somebody yesterday. I'm like,
well, it is not sometimes just like a sexual thing. It would be like, I can't imagine these people having sex.
Yeah.
Or I can't imagine them having sex. So you first go with the, I can't imagine that person having sex. And then you figure, well, they probably have sex. And then your brain goes like, how does that work? And it just, well, and then it backs off because you're like, I don't actually want to know. But I can't imagine there's a brain out there that hasn't done that.
Well, okay. And I have a variation of your process. It's not, I mean, yes, there are definitely people that I start out going, wow, I can't imagine that person having sex. But then there are the people like this person I was considering yesterday, wondering what that person would be like having sex, only not with me. I was just like, trying to figure out and I know this person has to be like, if they're not doing it now, they will be soon because they're, divorced within a year of being divorced.
Yeah.
So that this is going to be going on at some point. But I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I just can't even get my head around that. And then and I was waiting for something, so I was bored and entertaining myself. And then I'm sitting there going, but what happens, grow up. Like, why is it just, I guess it's just that barrier of, what you think is appropriate or something. So you just choose to think, oh, that doesn't happen. Yeah. Of course it does.
The majority of people on this planet are having sex.
Yes.
That are adult.
With something.
Yes.
And we don't even say somebody anymore.
No.
Because they're having sex with something.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it may not be appropriate in how we consider it, but it's happening.
Yes. Okay, by the way, back to the 5 sexual fantasies that guys won't tell you about. The last one, number 5, being like Magic Mike. They want to be strippers. Colleen, if you could see your eyes scanning.
I'm trying. My brain is going through all the guys I know, and I'm trying to, and I'm just thinking. Then I realize I've got my thing is skewed. I know a lot of performers.
Yeah.
So it's complete, my worldview on that is, if you grow up around a lot of performers, whether they're musicians or actors or anything like that, or dressed like that, a lot of my guy friends probably have stripped.
Oh.
I mean,
well,
in a humorous manner or this or there's something go through there, they've probably done it. So I have to back up and realize that the majority of men aren't theatrical people.
Yeah.
And have been raised or, have different professions or different backgrounds. And I can see them. Yeah. I think a lot of folks would prefer, because I mean, it's an object of desire. That's what they want to be.
Yep. For sure. Mm-hmm. This reminds me because they mention the Full Monty in this. Most everybody's seen the movie. I actually saw that on stage.
Did you see the stage performance of it?
I did.
Is it hilarious? As good as the movie? Because the movie had me, gasping. Because it's just the whole scene, especially the scene with the gnome.
Yes.
I don't even know how.
Oh God!
Because that wasn't even a dance scene or anything like that. But
I know
it was absurd.
No, yeah, that was a great movie. I loved the stage.
I wonder if it's available on anything. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Oh, it's on Netflix, I bet.
Oh yeah, well,
definitely.
Yeah, well, things I think are going to be on Netflix. Sometimes they're only available DVD, and I only do the streaming thing. I don't have to deal with.
No. I mean, God, aren't we? Isn't it hysterical? Remember, we used to deal with.
Well, I never even had Netflix beforehand because I didn't want to have to deal with the mailing back and forth and the possibly scratched, and it just. I was like, oh, they're just sitting there staring at me.
Yes.
And you have to watch it, not watch it this way.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No, DVDs are pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. So there's this book, The Wonder Down Under, and it's by 2 different sexperts, Dr. Nina Brockman and Ellen Stoken-Dahl. They're Scandinavian, in case you were curious. They wrote this book called The Wonder Down Under, and they are...
So they're not Australian?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. My brain went directly.
They needed a little rhyme and alliteration action going. Okay. So basically, it's everything you ever wanted to know about sex and the vagina. Oh. And so basically, they're talking about the clitoris being a cluster of nerve endings that cause sexual pleasure, and they kind of give you all sorts of...
Oh, yeah, it's a very large organ. I mean, it's not just what you can see.
Right, well, and so their contention is that the G-spot is it's not separate, that it's an extension on the inside.
Yeah, it's the backside of the...
Yes,
well,
yes.
It makes sense from what everyone, says where it is.
Yep.
About 2 inches up from the entrance, yeah.
Yep. So furthermore, and you can read the whole article, we're going to post a link to it, but I'll just give you a couple more highlights. This is probably a pretty good book, and probably a book that I would think would have been helpful to read as a teenager, maybe. I think a female teenager, and a guy.
Actually, no, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're into girl, yeah. Anyway, they are saying that they have a sexual. They're like, hey, let's turn the missionary position into something like wow, add the wow factor. So instead of being on hands, be on forearms instead, and slide rather, a little bit slower, but keep the bodies touching. They said it adds an amazing wow factor and gets the rubbing of the right things. The last highlight from it is they're saying that they've busted the myth that the pill makes you fat. They suggest the real reason women put on weight when they start taking that is because they're settled into a relationship. Whoa.
I've witnessed this when you're younger, folks that would eat salads at the beginning of a relationship, and then and I think it's sort of culturally ingrained. You don't want to look like a pig or anything like that. It's usually one of the less expensive things on the menu, so you don't have to look greedy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Understood.
Unless we're going for blue cheese dressing, usually less nasty breath inducing.
Yeah, go for the raspberry vinaigrette. You'll be safe. Mm-hmm. So Nintendo, Mario Brothers, it's one of the biggest games of all time. Well, the game sphere is going nuts.
Okay,
because
this is the world I know nothing about.
Yeah,
so.
well, there's promo for the upcoming Mario Tennis Aces game, and it purportedly shows Luigi, who's Mario's brother. He's anatomically correct, and there's visible bulging manhood, whereas in the past, they have always been portrayed with smooth fronts, desexifying them.
This is in a tennis game? Did you say?
Well, it's just the two characters, but yeah, it's called Mario Tennis Aces.
But there has to be some good artwork, because most tennis, if they have them in little tennis shorts, those are pretty baggy, aren't they?
Well, they probably just have them in their just,
their little outfit.
Yeah,
because I don't. One of them's red and one of them's blue, right? Do I have at least that part right?
I can't remember. I'd know them if I saw them, but I can't.
Big mustaches or something.
Yeah, there's mustaches involved. So yeah, there's all sorts of kind of funny commentary about how excited people are that they're anatomically correct. So there's a whole article this week, and we'll post it for you on the Great Northern Sex Cast Facebook page. Basically, it's pubic hair. It's all about pubic hair. Okay. And they're saying, we go back and forth. I mean, remember last week we talked about the stats? It's about half and half between women that whatever. Well, this particular article talks about the health benefits and it makes you more appealing to men. So this one's an argument for people who ditched the razor, saying that this is the way to go. So they're, first, it's all the bacterias, it's all the different things that it prevents, versus everybody thinks that the shaved is cleaner, but that's not necessarily the case.
Not so much, because you can nick the skin, you can do all that. There's a reason when we lost a lot of our hair during evolution that certain areas kept it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, they're even selling, we've talked about this, underwear with strips of fake pubic hair as well.
All those merkins and stuff like that from that one fashion show. I was flipping through that again just for entertainment. And I'm just like, I don't know how models do it. They have to wear the most absurd things and still have a bored look on their face. I mean, it was fascinating. So I'll flip back through the Facebook Great Northern Sex page, because the link to that is hilarious.
Yes, that is a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've heard for years that the Scandinavians, have the secrets to youth, and because they do preserve pretty well, a lot of them. I mean, and you hear, it's because they sauna, or it's because they do the polar splashes, they jump into the freezing cold water. Well, there's a whole article today about a chick named, okay, if I get this wrong, I'm sorry. Ina, spelled Inna, Vladmirskaya. Ina Vladmirskaya.
You're braver than I. I just look at some of these names and go, oh, I'm so bad.
Yeah, Vladmirskaya. She skinny dips in one of Europe's coldest rivers and runs naked along the banks because she believes that it keeps her looking young. So she goes through this whole thing. She says she swears by her weekly routine, says that freezing temps keep her looking young and healthy. And there's photos of this, with the article, so you can check it out. And if it wasn't for the fact that she's 32. I'd be like,
if she was in her 50s or 60s, and she looked like she was in her 20s. But they're forgetting one thing here. There's a lot more darkness the farther north you get, which means less sun and less sun damage.
That's a really good point.
Okay, so you've got that going for you.
That is a really super, super good point.
Oh yeah, because we were talking. My mom and I were talking the other day about use and stuff like that, and her friends were talking. That no one wants to admit they're over 70 because as soon as you say you're over 70, everybody treats you like some sort of decrepit, useless human being. But if you still say you're 60, you're still young.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and I'm like, but in my mind, people have always had it wrong. You don't say you're younger than you are. You have to say you're older than you are. So that everyone can say, God, you look great for that age.
Oh, that's actually really smart. You know what, though? It's so funny to me, though, how, I can remember my mom, acting old or saying that she was old and all that kind of stuff at 40s. Because, when I was born in the 60s, you didn't want to admit you were in your 30s. Like, that was just fucking ancient. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, bah!
There's children
yeah.
into your late 20s for extended adolescence. I during one of my most recent bouts of the hideous bronchitis or whatever, the flu or whatever it is, I was watching the movie Barefoot in the Park.
Oh, okay.
And it was made in 1967.
Okay.
And it has Robert Redford and Jane Fonda. And they are folks that are 25 and 27 years old. And the mom in it wearing the little wool suit with the gloves and the handbag and the crook of her neck and the little hat with the perfectly once a week done hair is 52.
Yeah.
And I looked at this and I've seen this movie a dozen times. The age never ran across me. I looked at it and said, I'm 52.
Yeah.
I'm not this old lady. She looked like an old lady.
Yeah.
She was 50. The character is 52.
Yeah.
So in 50 years, the idea of age has really changed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why things like MILF and GILF, you're like, these things, people are having sex longer. They're not, you're like, just because you're not 20 doesn't mean you're not having sex.
Yeah. No, I know. And, but I think there's two things here and I love it. And I hope the bar keeps moving for what's considered old. In fact, I wish the idea that you're old would just go away anyway. But, there back in the day, and I think at different times throughout the recent decades, women in particular just kind of stepped into it. Like, they're like, okay, I'm this age, so now I have to do this. Or start wearing that, or stop wearing that, or, whatever.
Yeah, those things are things you should never wear after you're 40.
Fuck that. If you've got the bod for it, wear whatever you want. Right?
Yeah. Or like, how to get a bikini bod. Buy a bikini, put it on your body.
Yeah.
Just going through. And the same thing with guys. Because occasionally I will have to step back because I'll see someone that is of a certain, a guy in their 30s or 40s with baggier trousers, and I'll go, wait, and I'll go, well, he can wear whatever the hell he wants. And I realize that I've ingrained things in my brain, but at least I'm catching it. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I'm a moron. I'm more than willing to say that.
Yeah.
But, and the thing is, we used to die earlier, yeah. But now we're living a fairly decent, life. So I think it's all,
Yeah. It's, I just love the fact that we're kind of blowing that out of the water. Mm-hmm. This is a quick side note. WhatsApp, it's one of the different,
We used to contact my mom when she went on her safari.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this guy, over in the UK added all 52 women in his address book to the same conversation. Problem was he was drunk and he was just messaging asking what they were doing that night, and they all saw each other on there, and I guess just crucified him. He woke up the next day and he's like, yeah, one said I was a piece of shit, another one told me to fuck off, another one called me a disgusting pig. And
so he sent out sort of a booty call
pretty much
thing to 52
Yeah, because he was drunk and it was getting too taxing, so he just fucking did it all at once.
I'm sorry.
I think that's efficient.
I would have laughed my ass off if I had been single. If I got that, I would have gone, oh, somebody had too many cocktails. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I would have been. I mean, I don't know this guy. I mean, once again, I have to think about the men friends I know years ago when I was single. And if this sort of technology had existed,
oh God,
we would have given him shit, but we wouldn't have been, because that's what friends do.
Oh, sure.
But I certainly wouldn't, call him disgusting or anything. I mean, there would be screenshots of this. I mean, we would be 90.
Oh, there's screenshots. Yeah.
But we would be 90 and giving this guy shit.
Oh, why
I mean, this
ya?
would never, but I wouldn't be angry about it. I would laugh my ass off.
He'll never forget it. This will haunt him for the rest of his life. Okay, I'm tempted to giggle, but then, my higher self steps in.
Okay.
And, tourists really need to stop doing stuff at sites
what?
where other people consider to be very, maybe sacred or, historically, important or whatever. Machu Picchu. Okay. So these women went and dropped their drawers and took, bare ass pictures in front of, Machu Picchu. And it was
how is that even possible? I mean, that's it, like the UNESCO, heritage site, and there's people all over.
Yeah, they just did it.
I'm never gonna get there. My lungs will never be able to handle it at this point.
Okay.
I've lost my window for visiting that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people who have gone and said it's beautiful, but there's a fair amount of folks. Okay,
they got caught.
Good.
They were expelled but not detained. I love this. Listen to this line. Undressing at Machu Picchu is considered disrespectful by Peruvian authorities. You think? And, it's like just the jewel of Peru. It's at the former capital of the Incan Empire there. Mm-hmm. And, it was discovered back in 1911. Yeah. I really would love to see that.
Go soon because it is in fact sliding off the mountain. And any earthquakes or anything like that, eventually, it's been there for millennia, so, it's gonna come crumbling down. But my brother and his family's been there. Friends of mine have been there because their daughter's from there, and it's just, I know other folks, and it is beautiful, but I do know that it's up way too high for my asthmatic lungs to be able to breathe.
Well, I better go then. Mm-hmm. Okay, so virtual girlfriends, here we go. No STIs, but really, people, seriously. The 3D holo girlfriends. And, it gets in bed with you. It does, the
virtual goggles. Okay.
Yeah, virtual goggles. And, why is that fun? It's air, people. It's air.
I'm confused. But then again, I just think, just looking through something through goggles would be actually pretty tough for me. Because I know that one of the biggest problems folks are having with this virtual reality stuff is that goggles make people motion sick.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm sure. And so they're trying to work the way around that. Sort of like the biggest, you think all this stuff sounds great, and then you realize there's actual real world problems with motion sickness for virtual reality, car sickness for non-driving cars, nobody ever for driverless cars.
Did you see that driverless car that hit the person?
Yes, that has been the first death attributed to a driverless car.
That was awful. I mean,
I just saw the headline. I did not read the.
I saw it on TV, and they had a shot of the bike, and it was just rumpled. And this woman was only 49 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just bad. And that was an Uber. So they're going to, I mean, you know, I just hope,
I'm just not sure that our infrastructure is, I'm not sure if that is developed enough, you know, I mean, it can barely function with cars with drivers. So how it's going to function with driverless cars when we have too many blind alleys, awkward intersections, streets that are not wide enough for everything that's on them. So I mean, just that sort of deal. I mean, if you were starting from scratch, you could probably build infrastructure for driverless cars.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, sort of like when I traveled to Guatemala, I had the best Wi-Fi ever because they weren't replacing, and they didn't have companies fighting over wired lines. They were just putting up cell towers.
Yeah.
You know, they were starting with what was within, and it was spectacular.
Yep.
I'm in the middle of a jungle in a Mayan ruin. I got great Wi-Fi. I'm in my house, and it's cutting in and out.
I know. That is wrong.
And I see some of the the same issues that we have with the drivers. I mean, I get it. I get all of the pluses.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure right now that the minuses add up to what's going on.
No, I mean they're not, and like there was a driver in the car, but it was in driver, and he couldn't stop it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's just not. They don't have this figured out. So please, no more human sacrifices until you figure it out. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Yeah, actually, a functional mass high speed train system in the U.S. would go a lot farther.
I would love that
for everything. Mm-hmm.
Can I just say, our light rail, it's nice. I'm glad we have it, but it sucks. It takes too fucking long. It takes too long.
Well, it's not big enough yet.
Yeah.
They don't have enough. So that's the problem. So people say, well, not enough people using it. It doesn't go enough places. Why is it that nothing gets done well enough? So, it's like if you can annoy everyone, then that's a win.
I know.
Mean, I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, when you're building this sucker, you don't wait for each line. I mean, there needs to be one up to St. Cloud. There needs to be something that goes up to
St. Cloud's opposing it.
Yeah. And then that's all.
It's political.
And then it needs to go down to Rochester. It needs to go down to Austin.
Yeah.
You need to have it go all the way out to Stillwater, to Cottage Grove, to Eden Prairie, all these places, and then you need to have an outlying circle one so you don't have to go down to the hub.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how you make a functional mass transit system, not build a line, wait 20 years, and do all that. I'm like,
I know.
And if you live near a train track, there's going to be a train on it. They may not have used that track for 40 or 50 years, but the railroad still has say over those lines.
Yep.
I mean, there's a line, there's a pathway that goes through Wayzata that had the tracks pulled up like 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Railroad still owns that. They could stick a train right through some of these $10 million homes' front yards.
Well,
but you got to know that.
And you got to read your title insurance preliminary report. Just another. I'm moving the next story in my order to the last because I love it so much.
Okay.
We're going to end on that one because it's such a fuzzy, fabulous one. Here's another one. At outrage in Thailand as mystery blonde strips naked and rubs herself against what though? Sacred penis-shaped rock. I'm less outraged about this. Okay, so this is. Oh boy.
I'm not rubbing a rock against my body. What the hell is she thinking?
Well, it's a penis rock, though.
I don't care.
Could you? I would have just hugged it. I would have just hugged it and petted it for the picture. You didn't need to rub it. But she went naked.
You do not need to rub your genitals on a rock in public.
Probably not.
I don't care what it's shaped like.
It's named Hin Ta, or the Grandfather Rock, and it's on the island of Koh Samui in Thailand. Mm-hmm. So it's a 12-foot high rock, and the locals believe it holds the spirit of an old man. Furious residents now demanding police find the woman and make her publicly apologize, Colleen. One of the food sellers there said the rock is very special, represents our island. It's an insult to do this. Other people say, I felt very uncomfortable after seeing the picture. I want the police to take appropriate action to avoid this happening again. This rock has a long history, blah, 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 blah. And it's next to another rock, which is a female. Okay. So if you're going to have genitalia rocks, you're kind of asking for it. Just saying.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's ever gotten naked and rubbed themselves against the Washington Monument. Well, maybe during the summer of when they had those big protests with hippies and a lot of acid.
Oh, I'm sure people have done all sorts of things.
But less, it's just so easy to document things now.
Oh, yeah. Telephone. Just a quick note, and you can read the article. When I saw the headline and then I read the story, it confused me. I'm not going to lie. The headline is Breakthrough Study Shows Humans Mated Outside Their Species 3 times. Okay. And I'm like, well, what were they mating with? Well, Neanderthals.
Yeah, Neanderthals.
Well, it's a version.
It's different branches and the dead ended.
Right. But and then there's 2 other that I can't pronounce in here, but I don't really see that as completely outside of species. I know I was expecting to see, like a moose or something like that, but it wasn't kinky. It was just, it's very, what am I trying to say? The people that dig around for artifacts, archaeological sounding, not as very much sexual. Okay. This is funny shit right here. Penis facials. When porn movies have been featuring those for years, Kelly, what are you talking about? Well, Colleen.
We're talking about like a little tiny, do you like put a little mud wrap on and put cucumber slices on the testicles?
No. This is, this is little baby foreskins, the stem cells from male Korean baby foreskins being used for a serum, and 2 actresses named have just talked about going to get this done in New York, $650 per treatment. Kate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock are 2. Now, if they are circumcising baby Koreans just for this purpose, oh my God. But then again, if they're just like, well, these are foreskins of circumcised penises, why are they only Korean? I have so many questions, Colleen.
This is icky.
It's creepy.
Well, yeah, there's probably different medical waste laws. That's probably why, and the scientists. But so, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, if I hear pedophilia, and if you're talking about stem cells, you can get them from almost anything. But then
read the article. It says babies, the younger they are, the better they are. Blah blah.
But then
blah.
again, there's been you can't do any research here, I think, with the word stem cell yet. It hasn't been, so that's probably why it's not a U.S. thing. But, if you're going to be...
Okay. I don't know if circumcision is culturally the thing there like it has been in the United States for so long. I don't know. But you always wonder when they're being used for something like this, if it creates a market that wouldn't necessarily otherwise be there. And that freaks me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then again, the idea of putting penis cells on my face is not exactly...
Well, you can get a stem cell from almost any place, but this makes it more, you're
gross.
There's not a lot of other body parts that people are generally discarding on a regular basis. So
true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But that doesn't make it icky, creepy, and completely abhorrent.
I just feel bad for the Korean penises. I don't know, because
I don't have a penis, but when I realize, the more that I think about circumcision and stuff like that, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, this is my favorite story of the week. Love this.
Okay, not penis facials. Okay.
Yeah. Because I just did not want to leave on that note.
Okay, did not want to leave on the creepy penis facials. Okay.
Okay. So it was a wrong number text. So, and it turned into this really super cool story that you could never see coming. So what happened was this woman named Sid texted a picture of herself in a dress. She was seeking advice. Like, should I wear this one?
So it's like sending it to a friend. Like
hey, how does it look? Mm-hmm. And it ended up with this guy and he in Mississippi or Missouri, Missouri, okay. Tony Wood. received it. And instead of saying, hey, he had the wrong number or any other number of colorful responses he could have sent, he texted her back a picture of himself and his 5 smiling kids giving thumbs up signs saying, and he wrote, I believe this message was intended for someone else. My wife isn't home, so I couldn't get her opinion, but the kids and I think you look stunning in your dress. You should definitely go with that one. Okay, it gets
so sweet.
Isn't that like the nicest? First of all, I love this guy already, and I understand why he has 5 children.
Yes,
but then the exchange goes viral. Her friend posts it to Twitter because she had the same reaction. But get this. It later comes out that Tony Wood was home with 5 kids because his wife had their other child, their number 6, at the hospital, a 6-year-old boy battling leukemia. Oh. He was there for treatment. And after the text story went viral, people started donating to their GoFundMe campaign. They raised, as of the day that this article was published, which was over the weekend, they'd raised nearly quadruple the $10,000 goal. Oh. Because Dad just decided to be nice.
Because sometimes I'm not sure if I want to use the word like lady or gentleman because it has a lot of baggage attached to it. Yeah. But how about that's a really nice human being.
That's a good human
he
right
took
there.
A moment instead of just dismissing it, saying wrong number, to look and to make this person's day.
Yeah.
And it does. It gets paid back.
Yeah.
And then the kids. You said that you took a picture of the kids,
and they all had their thumbs up. The kids and I think you look stunning.
Excellent. And just you know what? Just making someone's day.
Yeah. And the final quote from him was, "Our needs to get back on our feet have been met. We can't thank everyone enough." And any further donations are unnecessary, he said, which who says that, right? So, I mean, how's that for a happy note?
I'm gonna have to look this up because I want to. I'm sure the dress does look stunning.
I know, but I mean, that was just and you know that there's no impropriety because he took a picture of the kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And he said,
my wife isn't home, but
yeah,
So anyway, anything going on with you? Is all good?
It's all pretty good. We've got a big screaming order coming in, so we'll be getting through that.
I thought you said you had one scheduled for tonight.
No,
okay,
that would be nice. But honestly, with the way the antibiotics deal with my gut,
no, not so much.
And we're just, like I said, I think I mentioned that we're not going to be doing Pride, but we are going to be doing a few other things. We're going to be at the Cocktailian and the Iron Fork and the Beer Festival. So I'm excited to do those items coming up this year. Mm-hmm. Getting through stuff. Okay. It's spring. People, I'm loving tax refund season. Yeah. Folks are spending a little shopping.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, thanks everyone. Oh, got the best Google. Well, one of the best Google reviews the other day, and the quote was, "Because sometimes you shouldn't buy things from. There are certain things you shouldn't buy from Amazon with just a picture." Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes.
It was great. I was going through our Google reviews the other day, and we had like 10 5-star, and it was like 3 4-star, 2 3-star, and then there was like 1 star, but I don't know, but there was no explanation. So all I can say is, I'm sorry we didn't meet your expectations. I don't know what to do with that.
Right.
But, I got things like, great helpful staff and all that. So that put me in a really good mood yesterday. But some things you shouldn't buy off of a picture on Amazon, loved that comment. So thank you to that person. We wholeheartedly agree. And I shared that with everyone.
That's awesome. Well, y'all have a wonderful week, and we will be back.